Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuhu. Dear students, today we are going to see the features of equity shares. See, previously in the last lecture we saw the meaning and definition of equity shares. Today we are going to see the features of equity shares. Now, before starting with the features, let's see this example. See here, Mr. A and B, they both has got a dream to start a factory. For that, Mr. A, Mr. B, along with other shareholders, built a factory. For that, they required the initial capital, that is at the time of starting a company, for 1 crore. Okay, so can I say this 1 crore is ownership capital or equity capital? Equity capital, the word equity itself means ownership capital. See, once they have got a dream, once they have started their business, they have initially invested their money in the business. So can I say they are the real owners of the company, right? So this is known as ownership capital. So yes, they started a factory with 1 crore rupees. Later on, after a year or two, they required to get the new plant and machinery, the new equipment in the factory. For that, they asked Mr. X, Mr. Y and Mr. Z to invest this 15 lakh in their business. Here, Mr. X, Mr. Y and Mr. Z, they say that what is the benefit we are going to take, we are going to get when we are investing this money in your factory or in your company, what benefit we will get. So here Mr. A and Mr. B, they say that what you do is you invest in preference shares capital. That is, you take the preference shares of the company so that you will get the two benefits. What are those two benefits? You will get the dividend, you will get the profit, you will get the return before us, and at the time of winding up of the company, you will be getting the capital amount first and then later on we will get. So that means they are getting dividend first and they have got the priority at the time of winding up of the company. That is priority of getting the capital back. So yes, this is a good, I would say, good option for Mr. X, Mr. Y and Mr. Z to invest in the business of Mr. A, Mr. B along with the other shareholders. So yes, can I say that this 15 lakh is the preference share capital and the 1 crore rupee is the ownership capital, or I can say equity capital. Now on the basis of this example, we are going to start with the features of equity shares. The first one is permanent capital. See here in the example, the money, the factory building that the building that has consumed the capital, the plant and machinery invested in the factory, the whole factory building, everything is there permanently, that is till the lifetime of the company. So can I say the 1 crore rupees that is invested in the factory will be there by the life of the factory. By the time the factory is working, it would be there lifelong in the factory. Yes, so yes, the very first one is permanent capital. Equity shares are irredeemable shares. Irredeemable, see, the meaning of irredeemable share is a kind of share which have no maturity period to be redeemed or to be recovered. I can say that, see, the investors of such shares will not get their capital back. Later on, coming to the further points, you will again see how you can transfer your shares, but at present what you're supposed to here understand is equity shares are irredeemable shares which cannot be converted, or I can say which cannot be paid in between the company. Second, the amount received from equity shares is not refundable by the company during its lifetime. See, the capital of Mr. A and Mr. B is not refundable. That is, at the time of Mr. A and Mr. B will get the capital only at the time of winding up of the company or when the company will be closed. See, equity shares become refundable only in the event of winding up of the company or when company decides to buy back shares. Now this term is new for you, buyback of shares, right? Winding up of the company you all know, but coming to the point, buyback of shares. See here, A buyback, also known as a share repurchase. What this Mr. A and Mr. B will do? Mr. A and Mr. B will pay money back to the other shareholders and they will get their share certificates back, what they have issued initially at the time of starting the company. See, here you can see it in the image. People, what they are doing, they are giving their shares back, and what they are getting money. So this is known as buyback of shares. Thus, equity share capital is long-term and permanent capital of the company. The most important point, the very first point, is permanent capital. It's there in the business during its lifetime. Coming to the second point, fluctuating dividend. No fixed rate of dividend is given to the equity shareholders. See, you remember the example we saw for the aircraft. Remember, there were four different categories of people there. Equity share came the last. So this is what here it said. They always get fluctuating dividend. It's not fixed. No fixed rate of dividend is given to the equity shareholders. Rate depends upon amount of profit earned by the company. Okay. See, when a company earns a profit, it's very important for a company to pay off first all the debts of the company. After paying the debts of the company, then the company pays it to the preference shareholders, and last the chance comes for equity shareholders. See, more the profit, higher the rate of dividend. What if there is a huge profit in the company and they have already cleared their debts, they have already given the dividend to the preference shareholders, now still they have got a lot of profit with them. So yes, at that time equity shareholders get dividend at an higher rate. But on the other hand, if there is an insufficient profit or loss in the business, board of directors may postpone the payment of dividend. If there is a loss of a company, if there is no profit, so yes, equity shareholders will not get any dividend for that particular year. See, equity shareholders cannot compel them to declare and pay dividend. Now, equity shareholders, they cannot force board of directors to pay them dividend. Board of directors, from where they will pay? They will be saying that, see, we have got no profit, so now you people cannot force us to pay dividend. The income of equity shares is uncertain and irregular. It's not fixed. And the last one is the equity shares get dividend at fluctuating rates. So yes, because of all this, issues and circumstances of getting profit at higher rate and not getting profit at some times and getting the dividend, all these situations make equity shares a risky capital, and it's risky because they get fluctuating dividend. The rate is not fixed. Now let's have a recap of the definition of equity share capital, because on this we have got the next point. See, the Companies Act defines equity shares as those shares which are not preference shares. The above definition reveals that, see, we have already seen in this starting example, there were two different shares, right? Equity shares and preference shares. The equity shares do not enjoy preference for dividend. See, that's the only reason Mr. X, Mr. Y and Mr. Z, they invested in the factory of Mr. A and B. Why? Because it was said that you will be getting preference for the dividend. Secondly, the equity shares do not have priority for repayment of capital at the time of winding up of the company. Yes, it was said to Mr. X, Mr. Y and Mr. Z that you will get the priority at the time of winding up of the company. When the company will be closed, you will be paid money before us. So yes, these are the two main important points. On this you have got the third point, no preferential right. See, equity shareholders do not enjoy preferential right in respect of payment of dividend. This is what we saw. They are paid dividend only after dividend on preference shares have been paid. First of all, the company pays dividend to the preference shareholders, right? After paying to the preference shareholders, the company pays to the equity shareholders. See, similarly, at the time of winding up of the company, the equity shareholders are paid last. Further, if no surplus amount is available, equity shareholders will not get anything. This is what We saw previously in the definition and in the example also. Now the fourth point is no charge on asset. This is something new. See here, the equity shares do not create any charge over assets of the company. Now what is creating charge on the asset? See here, it means an hold on the property. It is created on assets of the company in favor of creditors. In case company fails to pay the debt, creditors can claim, that is, creditors can demand it from company's asset. Now see here, creditors can sell the charge assets. Let's say debentures of the company. Okay, debentures can be secured, debentures can be unsecured. Now what is secured or what is the charge on asset? See, debenture holders, they have invested. The persons who has bought the debentures of the company, they paid money to the company, they got debenture certificates, and then they say, what if the company is not in the position to pay us the money back? So then the company says that you have got charge on the asset of the company. Let's say you can say charged on the machines and other equipments of the company. That means that if the company is not in the position to pay back the amount of debenture holders can sell the machineries, can sell the plant and machineries and can get that money. So they have got that one particular asset to sell the asset and to get their money back. This is given, this right is given to the debenture holder, but no charge on the asset. Equity shareholders have no such rights, no such charge on any of the asset of the company. So yes, can I say no charge on assets of the company? Equity shareholders have got no charge on the assets of the company. Coming to the fifth point, residual claimant, we have seen in the last lecture. See, equity shareholder as owners are residual claimants to all earnings after expenses, taxes, etc. are paid. A residual claim means the last claim on the earnings of the company. See, in all the points and coming from the definition meaning from the previous lecture, we are coming to see that equity shareholders will stand last for everything. The most two important things are income, that is dividend, and at the time of winding up of the company, capital. So can I say, see, at the time of liquidation, when the total calculation is done, company will first pay to the debenture holder. If company has got loans from any of the financial institutions, company will pay that. Company will pay government dues. Company will pay to the suppliers, that is company's creditors. Company will pay to the preference shareholders, and after paying to them, if fund or earning is available, then it will be paid to the equity shareholders. See, although equity shareholders come last, they have advantage of receiving entire earnings that is left over. Now see, what do you understand by this? See, the company is working perfectly fine, the company is earning profit, but then still the investors, they want to switch to any of the other business. Though the company is working very good, but then still they want to switch to the any other business, they can switch. What if they want to close down the company? See, every time it's not the same that the company is working, it's not the same every time. Then the company is having loss, it's only that time the company will be closed? No, if you have changed your mindset, still you can close the company. So now, after paying all the other debts, after paying to the preference shareholders, the entire earning is there for equity shareholders. So can I say they are the last, that is, they are the residual claimants to all the earnings of the company? Okay. Coming to the sixth point. See, now there are certain rights for the equity shareholders which you are supposed to study. In rights, you have got 4 points. See, equity shareholders enjoy certain rights. The very first one is right to vote. Most important, right to vote, right to select. It is the basic right of equity shareholders through which they elect directors. Directors we have seen in the 11th standard. Elected representative of shareholders. So how they elect the board of directors? By voting. So yes, most important right to vote. It is the basic right of equity shareholders through which they elect director, alter memorandum and articles of association, etc. Whenever there is any of the change the company wants to do in the memorandum of association, articles of association, two most important documents of the company, right? Articles of association, internal management of the company. So yes, when there is any change in these two documents, there is voting is done, and that voting right is given to the owners of the company, that is equity shareholders. Right to vote. Second, you have got right to share in profit. Of course, say it's an important right of equity shareholders. They have right to share in profit when distributed as dividend. If the company is successful and makes handsome profit, they have advantage of getting large dividend. See, this is what I said earlier, when there is a huge profit, they will get dividend at higher rate. So yes, they have got the right to share in the profit of the company. It's very important for a company to pay dividend. No one is fooled to invest in the company without getting any return on their investment. Coming to the third point, you have got as right to inspect books. Which books? Books of accounts. See, equity shareholders have right to inspect statutory books of the company. Statutory, compulsory. Those books which is compulsory for a company to maintain. Can I say the books of accounts, and then registrar, the register of your meetings, and all those other important documents. See, minutes book, again very important, whatever that has been happened in the meeting, minutes book, remember? So these are different books. So now equity shareholders, as they are the owners of the company, they have got the right to inspect the books. Okay. The fourth one is right to transfer shares. This is what I wanted to explain you in the very first point as permanent capital. See, when we say it's a permanent capital, that doesn't mean that once you have invested in the company, you can't get your money back. No, you can get your money back, but then that money would be circulating in the market only. Let's say you have given, you have got a share of a company for total amount of 1,000 rupees. You have given that 1,000 rupees to the company, okay, and you have got the shares of the company. What if you require that 1,000 rupees? So what you will be doing? You will be selling your share to someone else. You will sell your share to someone else, but that 1,000 rupees will be there with the company itself. Just the name will be changed. The name will be transferred from one person to another. This is what your fourth right is. Right to transfer shares. The equity shareholders enjoy the right to transfer shares as per the procedure laid down in the Articles of Association, internal management of the company. That is, you can sell your shares to any other person. Okay, right to transfer shares. Now, the seventh one here is bonus issue. Bonus, you all know. I'm not talking about the Diwali bonus, okay? But then see here, bonus shares are issued as gift to equity shareholders. Now, bonus here, what you get in Diwali is, the bonus can be in the form of course, gift. Employees, when they get bonus, they get it in the form of gifts. They get it in the form of cash. They get it in the form of any package or something to go for a resort or something. But then in a company, when the company gives bonus, company gives it in the form of shares. See, bonus shares are issued as gift to equity shareholder. This gift is given only to the equity shareholders. See, these shares are issued free of cost to existing equity shareholders. If I have invested a money in the company and I am the equity shareholder of a company, I am entitled to get bonus issue if company is going to issue the same. Clear? See here, that is an example. These are issued out of accumulated profit. Now what do you think? From where the company get those extra shares? See, bonus shares are issued out of accumulated profit. Let's say, as in the example, in the year 2017-18, the profit was 25 lakh, which was kept aside. Then in 2018 and 19, profit was 28 lakh. In 2019 and 20, the profit was 32 lakh. So that total profit was 85 lakh. This was the accumulated profit that company kept aside. So yes, from these profit only, what the company will do? The company will try to reinvest this money in the business by issuing bonus shares. So the moment company gives bonus shares, capital increases of the company. So now see in the example, bonus shares are issued in proportion to the shares held. It's always given in certain proportion. Say this person has got 4 shares. The company says if a person is holding 4 shares of the company, that person is entitled to get 1 bonus shares. So if I have got 25,000 shares of the company, how many bonus shares I'm going to get? 25,000 divided by 4 into 1 bonus share. The answer is 6,250 bonus shares I am entitled to get. That is 25,000 plus 6,250. The total comes to 32,250. This is the total equity share capital which is there in the ABC company. Clear? See, this is the example. Now coming to the 8th point, you have got as right issue. This is again an important right given to the equity shareholder. Now see, pay attention. This is something new which you are going to see today. When a company needs more funds for expansion purpose and raises further capital by issue of shares, the existing equity shareholders may be given priority to get newly offered share. This is called right issue. See, one example was bonus shares. As company has already got accumulated profit, they already have money. They just want to reinvest again in the business so they can issue bonus shares. But what if there is no accumulated profit and then still company wants further capital for expansion purpose? What company will do? Company will again issue few more shares in the company's name. So at that time, company will try to offer that shares to the existing shareholders first, and then company later on will get those shares in the market. So now see, when the company is trying to issue shares, company will offer the same to the existing shareholders. When all the existing shareholders will buy the shares of the company, then the remaining shares will be given to the general public. See, the shares are offered to equity shareholders first in proportion to their existing shareholdings. What say if I'm holding 5 shares, I have got the right as I can get 1 right share. I can buy that share. 1 share I can buy if I have got 5 shares. So what if I have got 15,000 share? 15,000 divided by 5 into 1. The answer comes to 3,000 right shares. That means if I'm holding 15,000 shares of a company, I have got the right to buy more 3,000 shares of the same company. And here in the right issue, to the existing shareholders, shares are given at some discounted rate. See, if the company is going to sell the share in the share market at rupees 150, to the existing shareholders it will be given at 120 rupees only. Is that clear? So again they have got this right as right issue. Okay. Coming to the 9th point, you have got as controlling power. What is the controlling power? See, the control of company is vested. What do you mean by vested? Let or placed with the equity shareholders. Now see how they control. They have got one special right as voting right. By voting, as they are the owners of the company, they have got the right to vote. A right to vote for selecting the board of directors. Board of directors, who are they? They are the, they manage the company. See, they are often described as real masters of the company. You have to remember this word. Very important from objective point of view. They are often described as real masters of the company. It is because they enjoy exclusive voting rights. The Act provides the right to cast vote in proportion to the shareholdings. Whatever the number of shares you have got the right in the same way to vote in the company, to select your proper management team, that is board of directors, to manage the company, to run the company. So yes, you have got the control over the company, controlling power. See, they can exercise their voting right by proxies. Who is a proxy? When a person is appointed on some, on behalf of someone else, that is called as proxy. See, they can exercise their voting right by proxies without even attending meeting in person. If I'm not there in the meeting, I can send someone else to be there as a proxy and vote on my behalf. By exercising voting rights, they can participate in the management and affairs of the company. Participating in the management and affairs of the company? Yes. See the second one. They elect the representative called directors for management of the company. They are allowed to vote on all matters discussed at the meeting. Whatever there is a matter. See, whenever there is an alteration to the memorandum of association, articles of association, to take any of the decision to expand the company, to diversify the business, whatever decision it's there in a company, they are there to vote for the same. They are there in all the meetings of the company. Why? Because they are the owners of the company. Thus, equity shareholders enjoy control over the company. Now, this is face value. We have seen in the previous lecture the example. I have put it in the coming slide. What is the face value? Face value is the original value of a share or stock stated on the share certificate. That is, when the company issues the share certificate to the holder, whatever the amount that is written on the share certificate of the share, that amount of the share is known as face value of the share. It is a nominal value, or I can say a symbolic value, and it is not related to the share price in the stock market. Now see, again you will come to the other price also. At that time it will be clearer. But as of now, what you are supposed to remember is face value is something, the amount that is written on the share certificate, and it's very nominal, it's less. See, the face value of equity shares is always low. It can be generally rupees 10 per share or even 1 per share. Now see the example, face value of Colgate-Palmolive India Limited is rupee 1 and that of Reliance Industries is rupee 10. But now see, when I was preparing this lecture, the stock price which was there in the share market was 989. This is known as market value, which is the other point you are going to see. Now but see here, for the face value we have seen in the previous example. See here, this lady, she wanted to start a company ABC. For that she required 1 lakh rupees. So she thought that if she will get 100 from each one of them, so she needs to contact 1000 persons to get that 100. So that 100 which she got from everyone, which was written on the share certificate, is the face value of the share. But then what you have to remember, it's very nominal. It's like just 10 or rupee 1. These two you are supposed to remember. It's a nominal value, that is rupee 10 or rupee 1. Now coming to the market value. What is market value? Market value of equity share fluctuates according to the demand and supply of these shares. See, demand and supply. When the demand falls, supply rises, and at the same time prices of these shares, they fall. When the demand falls, when there is no demand of the shares, the supply rises. People start selling the shares, and at that time the prices of the share falls. On the other hand, when there is a demand for the shares, the price rises. That is, the demand rises for the share and the supply falls. As the prices are increasing, people try to keep the same for themselves and to sell it later on when even the price rises more. Now see, the demand and supply of equity shares depend upon profits earned and dividend declared. Whatever the price, market price is something at which the shares are sold in the secondary market, or I can say the shares are sold in the share market. See, when a company earns huge profit, market value of its shares increases. See, when the company will earn huge profit, of course the company is going to pay dividend at a higher rate. When there is a, when the company gives dividend as higher rate, people try to invest in the same company. At that time, the market value of the share increases. On the other hand, when a company incurs loss, market value of its share decreases. See, there are frequent fluctuations in the market value of equity shares in comparison to other securities. The market value of shares fluctuates as compared to the other securities, any other, you can say preference shares or any other securities in the market. Therefore, equity shares are more appealing to the speculator. Now, what is speculator? What do you mean by this word? Speculator tries to make profit from a security's price change. Speculator is a person who tries to forecast, who tries to assume certain things and situations, and on the basis of that try to invest in the security. Let's say I know that after a month or two gold prices are going to rise. This is just my speculation. So what I will do, I will try to invest in the gold today itself. I will buy the gold thinking that after 2 months I'm going to sell the gold so that I'm going to get some higher price. See, what are the other words for speculator? You can say gambler, operator, philosopher. Then you have got trader, adventurer, venturer, gamster, entrepreneur. See, this is a business. I'm going to get some stuff at a lesser price today, and what if I'm going to sell it after 3 days or a week and I'm going to get some higher price? So can I say market value is something that depends upon the demand and supply of that particular commodity or a security. See, on this speculator, there is an event of the Great Depression which was held. The whole story is depend upon the speculation only, which there are 2 slides at the end of the lecture. You can read the same and then you can try to understand what is speculation in detail. Now coming to the capital appreciation. Appreciation, increase in the value. Depreciation, decrease in the value. So can you remember capital appreciation? See, share capital appreciation, that is increase in the capital. Share capital appreciation takes place when market value of share increases in the share market. Company is working very good, company is paying dividend at a higher rate, so the market value of the share increases. When the market value of share increases, your capital gets appreciated, appreciation increase. Let's say I have got the share initially in the starting for, here in the example it's given as $10. Okay, I have got the share for $10, but then after few months, after 3 to 4 months, or I can say after a year, the value of share got $15. So yes, my capital got appreciated, increased. Now when I'm going to sell those shares, I'm going to get that increased amount, the difference between the two. Profitability and prosperity of the company enhances reputation of the company in the share market, and it facilitates appreciation of market value of equity shares. Thus, capital investment of ordinary, that is equity shareholders, tends to grow in its own. That one particular share, I have got it from the company for $10. Now the price is $15. So now my capital is growing on its own. This benefit is available only to the equity shareholders. Now the last point of this today's topic is risk. As every coin has got 2 sides. when there is capital appreciation, then in the same investment there is also a risk. Equity shareholders bear maximum risk in the company. The most, they are the extremists. They go through everything. They bear all the risk. See, they are described as shock absorbers when company has financial crisis. What if the company is not earning profit and they are not getting the dividend? It's a shock, right? So they are the investors who are in the position to absorb all those shocks and the burdens they have. So yes, they are described as shock absorbers when the company has financial crisis. Now see here, when the income of the company falls, when there is no profit in the company, rate of dividend also comes down, right? When the rate of dividend will come down, no one in the market is going to buy the shares. So yes, market value of equity share come down, and at that time there is a capital loss. Now what is capital loss? See, when in the previous example we saw the capital appreciation, that one particular share for $10 got the appreciation in the market and it came to $15. But what if there is no profit and the market value of that share is decreasing? So can I say I got the share for that $10 and now the value is $8? Is there any capital loss? Yes, there is a capital loss because I invested 10 and now I'm getting 8. Capital loss is your purchase price minus sale price. That is, I purchased that one share in 10 and now the value has come down to 8. So my capital loss is that $2 is my capital loss. So can I say the equity shareholders are the main risk takers of the company? Why? Because they are going to get the dividend at last, and yes, at the time of winding up of the company they are going to receive the capital at last. Now here, features of equity share at glance. See, permanent capital, fluctuating dividend, no preferential right for dividend and getting capital, no charge on asset. They cannot sell any of the assets of the company and get their money. Then residual claimants, after giving to all the other stakeholders in the company, they are going to get the money. Then they have got rights. In rights we have studied 4: right to vote, right to share the profit, and what are the other 2? Right to vote, right to share the profit. What else? Come on, remember, think. Right to transfer the shares, right? Then you have got bonus issue, you have got right issue, you have got controlling power. Then face value, as we have seen, 10 or rupee 1. Then you have got market value at the amount which depends upon the demand and supply of the share. Then capital appreciation, increase in the capital that you have invested in the company. And the last one is risk. Now you have got one small assignment. See, the real masters of the company. Who are the real masters of the company? And you are supposed to do this question: what is an equity share? Explain its features. Now after this you have got a 2-slide story. I hope you will read it. What was Great Depression and what is stock speculation? On the basis of this you have got this image understanding for the same. And that's all for today, class. Thank you.